Contestants from Lindenhurst, New York, Matthew Wasserman. And from Seaford, John Shea. Gentlemen. Trace, you starting here?
Good evening and welcome here.
Thank
Okay, tell me about, if you're hanging out here, what would you have to drink and why?
What would I have to drink and why? A Jack and Ginger. Just because I like whiskey. It's a good drink, tastes good, calms you down, and it's good for any occasion, to me.
Okay, John?
If I'm here with my guys, my boys, Coors Light. If I'm here with my kids, Diet Coke.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
All right. Tell me about your hometowns where you grew up.
I'm from a bunch of different places, actually. I was born in Manhattan, lived in Queens as a little kid, and then I lived up in Rockland County till I was about 14 years old, and then I moved out to Long Island. I lived in Huntington till about 6 months ago. I moved to Lindenhurst, and I've been there ever since.
I'm from Wantagh, Jones Beach. Do I have to say anything else? Right? Fantastic town to grow up. I lived at the beach fall, spring, winter, whatever. It was just a great town, and I really love it. Now I live a town over because I can see my kids. They still live in Wantagh, and it's just been terrific for me.
All right, outside of sports, when you're either thinking, playing, or watching, what are your favorite interests? John, let's start with you.
I love concerts. I do comedy, but I love concerts. I'm a big Allman Brothers fan. I didn't go to the show tonight. I really wanted to, but I came down here and represent. I love old TV shows. I love The Odd Couple, The Honeymooners. I got just a lot of interest in that. Movies.
Okay, Matt.
I would say movies also. I'm a big fan of just watching movies. When I'm watching TV, basically, if I'm not watching sports, I'm watching movies. I'm not really into a lot of different shows that are on. I have a pretty wide range of movies that I like. Classic films, newer films, action films. Pretty much anything. There's not very many movies that I could say I really dislike. And as far as music, I like music. And like I said, I have a wide range of music that I listen to. I can't say there's one particular type of music that I don't like, except for country music.
All right. Matt, tell us the one sports team you absolutely despise.
There's two, but if I had to pick one right now, Boston Red Sox.
I guess you're a Yankee fan.
Yes.
Okay. And John?
I would have to say I would go with the Red Sox, but also the New England Patriots.
Okay. We ready to go? All right. Let's see. Up first we have Matthew. Matthew, 2 minutes. Clock is right here. Let's hear from you.
Live from beautiful Levittown, New York, just east of the greatest city in the world, I'm Matt Wasserman, Sports Radio 66 WFAN. I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting me tonight. And hey, this is my favorite time of the year. It's warm, you got the sun, you got the beach, you got beautiful tan women walking around. And now, as a bonus, we get the craziest free agent signing period in the history of the NFL. The only bad thing about it is the reason we have it is because of a lockout that should have never happened. Because of greed from owners that, quite frankly, would make Rockefeller blush. But now that it's here, it has been interesting. And if you're a Jet fan, I can't imagine how today could have gone much better for you. You bring back Holmes, you make an offer to Asamoah, and I don't have to tell you, if you bring him in with Revis, you have obviously a dream team secondary. But if you're a Giant fan like me, there's a lot more uncertainty. You have obvious questions now on the offensive line with the cuts they made yesterday and today. You have to worry about if you could bring Bradshaw back, which I think is very important, and you have Osi holding out. But to me, the most interesting news that's going on with the Giants is the fact that Plaxico Burress reportedly will meet with them at the end of the week. Now, people are going to think I'm crazy, and a lot of people probably already do, but I would bring him back in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Assuming I met with him and saw that he was a changed man from being in the joint, and how could you not be? I mean, that would change me. And assuming his salary would be cap-friendly, which I think it would, because I don't see a lot of teams that are going to give him guaranteed money right now. Now, you can't teach 6'5". Eli always loved throwing to him. He loved putting it in high to him. He was a safety blanket as well as a deep threat. And obviously, we saw how clutch he was. His body work speaks for itself in the 07 postseason. Now, we do have a talented receiving core, but you don't know what you're going to get out of Steve Smith. He had a bad injury. Same with Dominic Hickson. The only sure things you have is Hicks and Manningham. You put Burress in there, you can never have enough talent at the skill positions. And if you're really nervous about it, you could always put a clause in his contract that I will not use my elastic waistband as a gun holster. As you want to know, I want to know what you guys think. 1-877-337-6666.
Does the lockout bother you?
It bothered me very much.
You're going to go to games. Do you feel any differently? Do you go to games now?
Well, I tell you the truth, I already was kind of aggravated going to games. My family are lifelong Giant season ticket holders, and I've been lucky enough to go to a lot of games in my life. And to see someone like my father, who supported the team through the 70s, when it really wasn't easy to support Giant football, he got moved out of his seats that he had for years, and he obviously got charged the PSL. Now, fans like him that help make the Giants what they are, they basically push them to the side in order to bring in more expensive seats for the higher-end crowd. And I was actually very thrilled to hear that they had trouble selling those seats, because I know it's business, and that's our economic system. But I'd like to think sometimes people have a conscience, and they want to help support the people that put them where they are.
Just as an aside, the Giants have told us that they've sold out all of their suites.
Yeah, and I know they have now. But I mean, it's just the fact, I thought they're just desserts in a way, to at least not be able to sell them quite as fast as they thought they were, you know?
You're a Yankee fan, you said?
Yes.
Okay, the Yankee-Boston hatred, I know it goes very, very deep. Does it bother you when Yankees get traded to the Red Sox or Red Sox to the Yankees? They can just switch it up. Does it get under your skin?
Yes, actually. The hardest thing for me was when the Yankees had Johnny Damon. The thing I hated him, obviously. And the thing I said when we got him was, I will not cheer for him unless we win a World Series with him. And lucky for me, right after we won the World Series with him, he was gone. So the next year he never had to come back, and I never had to cheer for him. I still had trouble when he went. I sit in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium. I still had a lot of trouble doing the roll call when he would go out there to right field or whatever outfield position he was playing. It bothered me very much.
Give us 30 seconds on Mike Pelfrey.
Mike Pelfrey, to me, is obviously not living up to potential that he showed last year. And I think if you're a Met fan, you got to be disappointed, because he was one of the young arms that you probably were counting on to build with beyond next year, especially with, obviously, Santana hurt and not a lot of great young talent on this team. I think that's got to be disappointing to you. And luckily, they had some guys come out of nowhere this year to pitch well for him, but I think a lot of people really felt Pelfrey was the number 2 starter. And he's obviously not pitching like he's obviously not pitching like a number 2 starter right now.
All right, Matthew, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
John Shea, you are on the clock.
Okay, first of all, I got to come to the defense of Rex Ryan and my Jets. That Mike over here. Where's the Jet fans? Come on. Here's why, Mike. Here's what I'll tell you why. Today was announced that 4 teams are over the cap. Those 4 teams are the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Packers, right? What did the Giants do and the Cowboys? They cut all these players. What did the Jets do? Bam! Right between the eyes, they bring their number 1 free agent, San Antonio Holmes, back into the fold. That's impressive. And not only that, they went out and they're trying to get Asamoah from the Raiders. How great is that? How great is that? To get 2 shutdown corners, there will be a no-fly zone in the Meadowlands if this deal is done. But let's look at it this way. Mike Tannenbaum is a GM. Mike Tannenbaum is a gambling guy. And I think what it is, he's just blowing smoke Asamoah's way to see that Cromartie might drop his price and come back to the Jets at a reasonable offer. Because we know Cromartie's got mouths to feed. And I think if the Jets make a reasonable offer to Antonio, he'll come back into the fold. But you've got to be excited about what the Jets are doing this time, because what they're doing is what no other team is doing. They are making a statement, a bold statement right away. While other teams are sitting on their hands, the Jets are making moves. And it's very impressive, and I think this is the year that the Jets, they knocked on the door of the AFC Championship game 2 years in a row. They knocked on the door to the Super Bowl. This year they kick the door in and they go all the way. You have to be excited. Mark Sanchez is now going to renegotiate his contract so the Jets get the guys they need. This is impressive, and this is something that takes a lot of respect. And the Jets, and granted, if you're a Jet fan, you got to love Rex, and you got to love Tannenbaum, and you got to love the direction they're heading in. It's been over 40 years since they've been to a Super Bowl. I think the time is now, and I think they got the players now, and I think they're ready to do it. This is the Jets' time right now in the year 2011. I'm John Shea.
So are the Jets going to win the Super Bowl this year? And if so, who are they going to be playing in the Super Bowl?
Well, Eric, I would say they're probably going to get there. If they win it, that would be amazing, but I'd be just, as a Jet fan, be really happy if they get there. Who they play would probably be the Packers. I think the Packers would be back there.
All right, give me about 30 seconds or so on why the Giants will win the Super Bowl, whether you believe it or not. I want to hear you be passionate about it.
Okay, I think if the Giants are going to be good enough to make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to bring Bradshaw back. They're going to need that. They're going to need that running back, and they have to make amends with OCM and Euro. They have to do it. You have to bring this guy. Pass rushers like this do not grow on trees. They need Wasserman back with the team.
Tell me about the Mets. Was it a good trade to get rid of Beltran at this time, or
Yes,
just
it was.
demoralize everyone?
No, I think it was a good move because what you're doing here is the future. It could be this kid Wheeler, who they like a lot from San Francisco. He's a great young pitcher. He's their #1 prospect. And I think if the Mets can put this guy in the rotation in a couple of years, they can say to their fans, look, we made the move we had to make. And I think with this team, you know what, they got to shed payroll, and because you don't know what the Wilpons and what they're going to do. I really think it was a good deal for them, and I don't think it's going to demoralize the fan base because I think they're headed in the right direction with Alderson and Terry Collins.
Everybody is certainly excited that the NFL lockout is over. What are your thoughts on the NBA lockout?
NBA lockout, you know what? I think that's going to be a long, hard road. I think it's going to be a long time before we see NBA basketball back on. You know, and it's a shame because now you're talking Carmelo Anthony's talking about playing in China now. I think that's the last thing the Knicks fans want to see is their #1 player playing in China.
All right, John, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.